are more answers than you know.
4 students found each had multiple stab wounds. Some had defensive wounds, showing they fought with the attacker. And there was no sexual assault. County Coroner Kathy Mabbutt is describing the murders as personal.
All right, guys. Whoop. Welcome back to What's the Obsession True Crime. It's so great to see you guys here on this. Woo. You go, microphone. I would just waddle a little too much. My laptop did. Wobble. I'm not waddling. My laptop wobbled. Waddle, wobble. 2 different words. So this is a pretty late live stream starting at 11:30 Eastern time, a little bit later on a Friday evening. I told you guys during last live stream, I do a live stream this weekend on Friday and Saturday. But, my work week got crazy as it often does. So we're going to be doing a really special live stream tomorrow night on the Watts case. I'm going to start to present to you the information and author and my very good friend, Kathleen McKenna Hudson's new book, Girls of Summer, which focuses on Nicole Kessinger's role in the whole dynamic series of events and timeline leading it up to the horrific tragedy of the murders of 15-week pregnant Shanann Watts, her daughters Bella Watts and Celeste Watts. And there will be bombshells, but I don't want to take away from this case or what we're talking about today because this is very serious stuff. This evening, we are going to be talking about the Idaho versus Brian Koberger case and the investigation into the horrific murders of Kelly Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle that happened on November 13th, a Sunday, 2022, as many of us vividly remember. Now, I believe that the footage that was just released, the Moscow Police Department body cam footage that captures on video and audio with some chunks missing, as Mick J pointed out. And thank you, Mick J, for always being on top of all that and sending it to me right away when it comes out. The moments right after the 911 call was made, when the surviving roommates and their friends discovered that something was not just horribly wrong in 1122 King Road, but it was even way worse than that. I don't think they were able to put words to it yet. I don't even know if there are words for it. Law enforcement arrive. The body cam starts rolling. Dylan Mortensen is questioned by a law enforcement member, and you're going to hear her say, right on video here, in her own words, in her own voice, many of the things verbatim she's been quoted as saying from investigators, and particularly in Brett Payne's version of the PCA, or that whatever it was, supplement A, supplement B. We got into some discrepancies in that a long time ago, but I don't know if they're important anymore, or maybe they are. But I think it's really, harrowing to hear her say these words that we have read over and over again so many times in the probable cause affidavit, in other court documents and other material that is, talking about this case, trying to work things out. And, I haven't watched this whole video yet. This week I've been slammed at my day job. I did watch the first several minutes of it. And I think that, having this evidence has been presented through documents and through law enforcement on video where we can hear it and see it for ourselves, although it is redacted largely in some portions, is very, very telling in a few key areas. I'm not going to mention what I think they are yet because I want to know what you think first. I don't want to gaslight your brain. But as we're watching this together, you can offer as much feedback about anything you hear or see in the comments. That would be absolutely amazing. And that's why we're doing this all together tonight. So without further ado, let me just say hi to some people in chat here really quick, and then we're going to get started. I just want to see if there's anyone new. Our wonderful moderators and true crime family, Pepper, Honey Bun, is Cuffew here? Anaphylaxis, I'll just name them anyway. Suspicious. I don't know if Kevin is here. Let me see if I missed any moderators. Thank you so much for all you do for the channel. And What's the Obsession now has a Discord thanks to these amazing moderators. It's really hopping and awesome. We'll provide the link in a little bit. And also a Patreon page where I have been uploading all of the newly released FOIA material. I'm not getting any of it through FOIA right now. I've gotten 3 things regarding Idaho through FOIA myself. All of them were released by mainstream media first, since this is such a popular case. Unless you have some unique source-based information, you know, it's kind of like the documents are going to get released. So I'm not saying they're my personal returns on FOIAs. I don't like it when people do that. That's not what I'm telling you. But all the information that is being released, I'm putting it on Patreon immediately. Right now, it is free of charge. If you want to go check it out, it's all right there for you. You don't have to take up room on your disk. You don't have to use up your disk space. Don't have to find somewhere where it's all together. Don't have to pay for it. I did that for you. I would just love it if you'd even become a free of charge member on Patreon, because I really want to grow that community. It's such a great platform where I can share with you critical things about the cases that we follow that you just can't really share easily through YouTube. So I'm super excited about that. Gosh, excuse me. Oh, hey, Deadline Crime with Jennifer. So that is Crafted Evidence Podcast. She decided to change the name of her channel. She's now Deadline Crime with Jennifer. Love that name. Make sure you let her know if you like it. I'm sure you do. Oh, there I am, gaslighting your brain again. I need to stop gaslighting your brain. I'm sorry, guys. I like it when you think for yourselves. Lindy, how are you doing? It's so great to see you. Lindy said, I already watched some of the body cam earlier, but was heading to bed and stopped it. I think Dylan was describing Kaylee shouting someone here, and it was actually Xana, and she ran up the stairs. Yeah, I think that evening, it sounds like the way, it's turning out is that Dylan was mistaking Xana for who she was saying was Kaylee, maybe thinking that, why is Xana like in this part of, the house? She's probably with Ethan on the other side of the house at this hour when, we're doing whatever we do after we've been out partying and drinking all day and night. So yeah, I think you're right about that. Excuse me. Hey, Claudia Salas, how are you doing? And McJay already said, hi. It's so wonderful to see you, McJay. Malibu Surfer. Oh, sounds awesome. Welcome. Great to see you. Sirius Black. How are you, my friend? I'm so glad you're here. Well, guess who is not missing this live tonight? Watching Session True Crime. Woo, woo. Great to see you guys tonight. And then a shout out to all of y'all. Awesome. So glad you're here. Pepper, thank you so much for the super sticker. You're amazing. I just adore you. Thank you for your support always. All right. Oh, and Cuff U is here. Welcome, my friend. All right, guys. I'm going to just stop talking. Let's just watch this. Please comment as much as you can. I want to hear everything you guys think. I do want to point out our 2 friends, our 2 sources from Idaho, Ethan Chapin's fraternity brothers, who are young men, I can say, have become friends of mine at this point. They're not just our Idaho sources anymore. They've graduated. Their lives are very different now. They don't know if they want to speak up publicly about the case or not. They've proven themselves to be accurate, honest, and just good people, providing us with more reliable and accurate information, guys. And I don't normally say this about my own channel because I don't think about my own channel because I'm just this little channel. In regards to the Idaho case and the accuracy, reliability, consistency of the information we provided and presented as being fact that was before anyone else knew it, I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud of that because of the reason we put the information out there. And that was to fight against the rumors that were being intentionally set out into the public and on social media for creators' own selfish gratification and, pocketbook filling. And the narratives that were being put out were extremely hurtful to the family and friends of the victims and to the university community. And there's no need for that. And we shouldn't stand for creators doing that for selfish reasons. We don't want to be the fools who believe that crap. Oh, you're having a moment of gluttony and greed. Well, just feed me a load of bullshit and I'll buy it. How about a $20 super chat for that shit? We don't want to do that. But even more than that, all of us here, and I know definitely on this channel, I think it's important to not just not buy into it, but also, push against it. And I'm really proud that we did that. And we did that with integrity. in class, and we proved that these sources and these people who were questioned and attacked and even accused of committing this crime, that they were correct, that they were honest, that they're good persons, and that we were able to provide you the best information really out there. Anyway, their understanding is, it is in this body cam video, and I got to watch the whole thing, where Bethany believes that she mentioned something about, not as a direct questioning of law enforcement, but it was, it's told to me, and again, I haven't seen the whole thing, so I don't know. When Dylan's being questioned, she's kind of talking about in the background, I'm not even clear if it's to law enforcement or to another friend, that the person that Dylan is describing seeing inside of the house, Bethany was, I saw a man that looks like that outside the house, outside my bedroom window. Exactly what we have been told was the case all along. And apparently there is audio evidence of Bethany stating that in this video. So I'm going to really look strongly for that. I've been told that a long time ago. I was really eager to be able to listen to and see this particular video. So let's do it together. Here we go. Thanks for being here, guys. Please click like, do all the YouTube things, damn it. YouTube's got us trained, all right? Let's just be the monkeys and do. Not for YouTube, but, it supports the channel, and that's all I ask from you. All right, I'm going to mute this mic. All right.
And she screamed because someone's in the room and she ran downstairs. And I kept calling her name. Pretty much they were in the main room. I heard the dancing and laughing. Kaylee went upstairs and she screamed because someone's in the room and she ran downstairs. And I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And then I saw the guy. I just locked the door and I ran downstairs, but we don't know what's going on.
Just come here. There's two. Looks like fatalities.
I heard her scream and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask that was just covering his forehead and his mouth.
Well, get to town. We've got a quadruple homicide.
I'm trying to contact the phone with my 13 at 10 hours of 15. 3170, what was the second unit going now? 40. Pretty happy. Multiple people on the phone tonight saying how brilliant our team is passed out, not waking up. What do you think? Hot dog on today, the state's going to think about it and helping in the room with them. Trying to get through this. Come on, because I want to be around. How many copy that? 20-year-old female. Unconscious, trying to get further.
Where's she at? Yep. Where's she at? Where's she at?
Yes.
Where at? Up here?
Up here. Okay. You got it all from them. That's, you know, you're looking at the animal. I just came in checking here and see what I just found. And I checked this user's real that she's. And I didn't check them yet, but I'm pretty sure.
13. Okay, get back.
I don't know if they're still in that. I really just remember. I grabbed them. They're like
1370. Okay, stay back there, please. Slow down. Just come here. There's two. Looks like fatalities. Dude. All right. Okay. Nobody's allowed to leave for now. Okay. Just stay here for me, please. Do you know the... Okay. Here. Can you guys go over to the dumpster for me, please? Okay, let's clear it. Thanks for...
Okay.
I'll just start down here. Police department.
Police department. Moscow Police Department, if you're in here, announce yourself. Moscow Police Department.
Clear here. Going up.
There.
Police department.
We're on third floor, coming up. We got another. Moscow Police Department.
Dude.
Oh, God. I've just got to say this. I don't want to pause a lot, but, you know, I know, like, the last live stream, the way the investigators recently after the sentencing have been answering questions, handling things, in my opinion, obfuscating, driving a narrative, trying to confuse, and I don't know why that is. Why would you do that? I mean, you know, let's make it fucking simple, people. If you're in law enforcement, just do for your community, protect and serve. Just be straightforward about it. the complication, whether it's malicious, nefarious, or not any of that at all, is just not necessary, and it just shouldn't be there, because it just raises question and leaves space for those people that are going to utilize this tragedy to fulfill their own greedy desires and wants, as we were talking about before. And that is not good. It's not good for justice. It's obviously does nothing for the victims. It greatly harms the victims' families, and it's really just unhealthy and toxic for all of us all around, right? Would you disagree? But these first responding law enforcement officers here, I mean, I'm sure many of us have thought, I can't fucking imagine. I can't imagine how, after what they just saw in Xana's bedroom, they even go on. How do they not pass out? How do they not throw up? How do they go up to that third floor? And what they're seeing right now is they're the first people in there. My God, these are the kind of officers, as green as they might be. I know a lot of the first responders just, happened to be on patrol that day. They were like very new to law enforcement. To me, this is what's heroic, though. And I just wanted to point that out.
We're clear. Let me just secure the outside first. So.
Go to the front door.
There's a back entry. I was going to start taping it all off.
Brian's taking the outside off.
Okay.
Where's the
Two right.
Yeah, McJay says he probably said, was it McJay, dude, when he saw Kelly? And I think a lot of, there is a lot of audio cut out here. I've heard that from McJay first, of course, because you're awesome, girl. Thank you. And then a lot of other people, and obviously we're experiencing it for ourselves. But I mean, just as being human beings, having, like right now, I talked about as far as, the 8-hour, differential and not calling 911. Now I think it's something even totally different than this, kind of. But I talked about, for those of you don't know, I'm a behavioral therapist. So this is my learned area of expertise. So I'm not bullshitting you here. Our bodies, the 5 F responses: fight, flight, freeze, flop, friend, or feign. When we are faced with extreme stress, danger, trauma, anything that's going to trigger that innate survival mode that all of us have, or we probably wouldn't have made it this far. Well, maybe we would in our cush 2025 life, but our ancestors certainly wouldn't have it. Maybe we wouldn't anyway, because if you don't got that fight in you, you don't got much, right? But, these officers are experiencing that same thing here, even though they are trained. For them to see what they're seeing, is threatening. It is traumatizing. It is dangerous. It is all those things. They just are trained to handle it. They have the mindset that they are capable of handling it. They're going to handle it, that determination. So they fucking handle it. But, probably the things they're saying to one another, I imagine right now, are, things of a nature that you don't want on record in an investigation, because they are, excited utterances, if we want to have flashbacks of, some of the litigation in this case, which we don't. I don't.
I already got it. I got in there. Shut it down in there. Check with the prints. There's nothing else out there. Do you want me to go back there and start IDing people? Okay, I'm going to start IDing all of them. It's a
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you're good.
Hang in there, brother. Okay.
I didn't tell you anything. I didn't watch last night at 4 in the main room.
This is one of the.
Pretty much they were in the main room. I heard them dancing and laughing. Kaylee went upstairs and she screamed because someone's in the room and she ran downstairs. And I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And I saw the guy. I actually locked the door and I ran downstairs. We don't know what's going on.
Can you come here with me, please? Break Fire 3170. Could you guys grab some blankets for all these people out here?
Oh, okay.
Nope. Just come over here with me, please. Okay. Just give me 1 second, please. I'm gonna get your name and information. Just 1 second.
Now, I just want to point something out, and hate cuff you. And I mean, I literally don't know how to feel. This is just so hard to watch. And I do just want to point out, I've never doubted this. I mean, I have questioned why the 8 hours, but never in a way that blames the roommates, their kids. I understand the nature of trauma. I understand that I'm not the all-knowing, all-powerful YouTube true crime creator like others think they are, and that there may be variables and factors and circumstances that we don't understand, that are not for us to understand, or, you know, that you never have the whole picture. And people that think they do, you know, we know about those people, right? And I've said this before and I'll say it again because, you know, I just feel strongly, and I think the people here are listening on replay, most of them are like, you know, have similar feelings on that. And if you don't, and you don't like it, and it makes you not like my channel, it's okay. I'm sorry. Goodbye. We all have to stand by what we believe here. When we see these surviving roommates in this video, and just for so much of what we've seen and what we know so far, there are channels, and I know you guys know this, so thank you for letting me just say it again, who are still ripping on Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, calling them trash, calling them liars, calling them sluts, calling, you know, all these horrible things, criticizing every aspect of their life. I heard one creator recently saying that, you know, people say Dylan has a nice body. Her breasts are uneven. One of her breasts is significantly larger than the other. Like, what the fuck? Look at her. She looks like she's not. I was like, I can't even believe I'm hearing this. And this person was dead serious. And some of you know who this is, cuff you. And you wouldn't be surprised, but it's absolutely insane. So you have whatever feelings you want to have about those creators. But I suggest for us to do the right thing. And I'm asking, and if you don't want to do this, I respect it too. But people that are still making videos saying that these surviving roommates are involved, that they are somehow part of a conspiracy, that they're behind it, I would ask that you unsubscribe to those channels, that you do not feed that monster. That specifically, I can tell you since the very beginning, I know they're hurting all the families. I've been in touch with the Chapin family since two fraternity brothers along the way many times. And although they show their pain because of their love for their son in public, they don't show their emotions about how people are talking about what happened, how it affects them, because they're just too they're above that. Like, really, I don't think they're above that. They truly are as people, but it has impacted them deeply. And the only way to stop that kind of crap is to cut them off. Enough is enough. Any creator who might be hearing me say this right now, if you're about to go make a video, ripping apart Dylan Mortensen or Bethany Funk, I think you really need to go sit down and think twice about who you are, what you want to represent in this life, what you want to put out there into the universe, and what you want coming back to you. And my opinion right now is you, my friend, are a piece of shit. Thank you, everybody. Back to the body cam.
Get you a blanket and stuff, all right? Thanks, guys. Yeah, that'd be good for now, and then maybe the big white blanket whenever.
I need to clarify. Cuff, of course it's not you. It's a creator that I made you aware of recently. I don't even remember how, that we're both just grossed out by.
Actually, you guys probably just hang on to these whenever. Is that name on the swear? No, they guessed it. Okay. Who would like a blanket right now? It's temporary. Does anybody like one for your feet to stand on? Okay. I'll let you. Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, if that name shows up, that'd be great too. Grab some blankets. Yeah, 1 second, man. Let me just grab all your guys' info. They're warmer. Okay. I know she was barefoot, so I was hoping to get something for her, but thank you very much. Thanks, boss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to read a comment from PKC and welcome, sweetheart, earlier. And I this is astonishing. She pointed out and reminded us that the person with the body cam, the perspective through which we're viewing right now, is 22-year-old young man, 22 years old. That's barely older than my son. And the way he is handling himself with what he is doing right now, we have to pray for all these first responders. In this case, in all cases, this case, I think, was particularly hard because of how gruesome it was. Kaylee was unrecognizable, not just as Kaylee Gonsalves, but as a human being. It was clarified by that 22-year-old officer. He is 22 years old, and he is an absolute hero for doing what we are seeing him do right now, doing his job, doing what he needs to do to ensure that those first steps towards getting justice for what the horrible things that were done here to these precious souls will someday, the families of the victim members will receive that sense of peace or whatever it is that they might get when justice is arrived at after all their suffering. And obviously for the sake of victims and the community, he's doing all the right things. So, I mean, he's a hero. So I just want to acknowledge that and point it out to all of us. And thank you for, oops.
Okay, what's your last name? And your first name? And your middle name? Good phone number to reach out. Okay. And is this your address?
Yes.
What's that address?
1122 King Road.
Is your driver's license right?
Yes.
Okay. How much have you seen in that?
No, I don't really know. I just saw my friend when I called because we were so scared. We're like, can you please come help us? And that's all I saw. Told us not to go in. That man right there. That helped show you around.
We did go in there.
Yeah, and that's when he told us you need to call the cops.
Okay. Do you mind just waiting over there for me, please? Okay. Now I heard you talking about last night.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to, the more we know right now, the better. We can start this process.
Yeah.
Somebody will probably be revisiting this interview with you very soon. Again, okay. So you're probably going to have to retell the story quite a bit.
That's fine.
All right. What do you remember seeing? What started?
I remember I was in my room and I was trying to go to bed and I heard Kaylee, who ex-girlfriend who has a dog in her.
Real fast. Which one is your room?
Kaylee.
Which one is your room?
Oh.
What room are you in?
I don't know. What do you need him for?
There was a lot with the windows. The one I picked up yesterday was the last one in the
You were in that room?
My room, not Xana's room. My room.
And your room is this one right here?
Next to the stairs. That one is Xana's room.
Second floor room.
Second floor.
Okay.
All I heard was I heard her go upstairs. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because she's going upstairs.
And you heard who go upstairs?
Kaylee and the dog Murphy.
And upstairs to the very top?
Yeah, that's where her room is.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up. I heard her scream, and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here. And she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom and I heard her crying. And I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second and I saw this guy. And he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask, which is covering his forehead and his mouth. And I locked the door and I called. And I didn't know what to do.
This was at 4
a.m. Yes.
Okay.
And so then I just ran down.
You left here?
Yeah, I left my room down to she's that one with the white blinds at the very bottom.
Okay.
I ran down there and we talked and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow, so we just like tried to go to bed. And then we woke up and it was weird because none of our roommates were up. And we called all of them. They were not waking up. And so me, like, this is weird. So I called and come over, and then that's when all this happened.
Who all lives here with you?
Me, that woman right there.
Okay. Who's Xana?
Xana is the girl in there.
Is the girl that lives this one?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you spell her name?
Xana.
Do you know if she has a middle name?
Alexis, I think.
Do you know what her last name is?
Kernodal. K. I don't know how to spell it really. K. You know? R-N-O-D-L.
K-A-E-R?
K-E-R.
K-E-R.
N-O.
N-O.
L-E.
D-L-E? Okay.
X-A-N-A.
X-A-N-A. Okay.
Ethan, who's in there, he doesn't actually live here, but he's here like almost all the time.
There's a male that lives here, and
he doesn't actually live here. He's in the room with Xana, I believe.
He's in there right now.
But he doesn't live here, but he's here a lot. And then there's Maddie, Mogan, and Kaylee up top. I don't know where they're at though.
Maddie
Mogan. Maddie Mogan and
Maddie Mogan.
Yeah.
And who?
Kaylee Goncalves. She's the girl that I was talking about, Kaylee, who I just heard her go upstairs and run back down the stairs.
Okay. And the guy that lives here, his name was what? He's usually
Ethan.
Ethan. And You knew he was here this morning?
No, I didn't know. I had no idea he was here.
Okay. All right, describe the guy that you saw.
I don't think he was a little bit taller than me, and I couldn't really see much of him, but I'm almost positive he was wearing a full black outfit, and he had this mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth, and he didn't say anything to me, like, at all. I just shut the door and locked it because I didn't know what to do, and I think he went out like the side door, the sliding door in the kitchen that goes out to the backyard. And I was like, I'm downstairs, I don't know where anyone else is. And I called Maddie, I called Dana, I called Kaylee, no one would answer.
Okay. All right. For Zena, do you know how old she is?
She's 20.
Is she in the sorority house?
Yeah, not anymore.
Okay. She's a student at UVI?
Yes.
Do you have any contact information for her parents?
No,
It's okay. Well,
okay.
we can get that eventually.
Her dad's name.
And then Ethan. E-T-H-A-N.
And Chapin, C-H-A-P-I-N.
Hey, real fast. She's saying this morning around 4, there's a guy, black mask, was in there. She didn't recognize him. When she heard girls screaming upstairs, she got scared, locked herself in the room, and then the screaming all stopped. She's pretty sure that this masked person went out the back. Okay. And right now I'm getting all the information. She knows the other 2 girls are up there. I haven't told her who's deceased or anything like that. They have 4 people that aren't unaccounted for right now, which...
Whose dog?
Whose dog? Who owns a dog?
Kaylee.
Okay.
Testing as well, and you're testing
Okay.
getting.
So she knows a bunch of the people who are living here. I'm getting all their names, and then I'll finish collecting all their information. Okay. How old is Ethan?
There's a door downstairs next to the bathroom that's got a padlock on, or a lock on it. You guys?
We don't know.
Okay. Who has access to that room? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not something you guys normally do?
No, we have no idea what it is.
Okay. So Ethan, how old is Ethan?
I believe he just turned 20.
20. And it's Chapin, C-H-A.
Oops. Hey, yo. Well. Weird. I don't know. Can you guys hear me talking? Yeah, no? You think you can, right? I think my mic unplugged. Just let me know if you hear me talking. For some reason, it really struck me when I heard her say, you know, that one of the officers is saying, hey, there's a door, you know, in downstairs when we walk in or whatever. It's like a padlock on it. Like, what do you know about that? She's like, oh, you know, we don't know anything about it. He's like, oh, you know, who has access to it? No answer. She's like, so you don't know anything about the door. It's not something guys use. She's like, we just don't know anything about it. You know, I mean, it's just like, you know, if I'm going to live in a house and there's a door with a padlock on it I don't have access to, I'm going to find out about that door with the padlock. And, you know, but they're kids. That's the whole point. They are kids. 19 years old, man, that's a baby. That's like the students I work with now. They are babies. They are not adults. It's so important to remember that when we are, you know, giving these young girls the treatment that we're giving them, the old wash through on YouTube. They're kids. They're kids. They're biologically, factually, they are kids. That is a fact. As I say all the time, the human brain does not develop into a mature adult brain between the ages of late 23 to late 26 years old, depending on a number of variables. These are children. It doesn't matter what the age to vote or drink is. These are children. They are not adults. They have not matured into adults, period. End of story.
E-I-N?
Yes, I believe.
Okay. Do you happen to know either of their date of birth?
No, I know Sienna's date of birth.
Okay. No worries. And Ethan's also a U of I student?
Yes, he is.
And you don't see him here right now? You see, but I'm pretty sure he was in that room.
I think so. I think it's told me. I don't know for sure.
All right. And then the two additional roommates that aren't here right now,
They're not.
that aren't here with you,
Yeah.
what are their names?
Maddie Mogan, MADDIE MOGEN. And then Kaylee, KAYLEE. Goncalves, GONCLAVES. I think that's how you spell it.
How old is Maddie?
21. Or 21 or 22. I can't remember. They're both 12 or 21, but I don't know exactly.
I think so. How old is Kaylee?
Over 21. I believe she's 21 or 22. Sorry, I don't remember.
It's okay. You're doing great.
Thanks.
I'm asking a lot of you. So
Sorry,
I appreciate you.
I'll say anything.
You're doing very well.
Do you know if the other two girls are upstairs or not?
Right now, what we got to do is we got to process this whole thing.
That makes sense.
I don't know what I'd be permitted to tell you.
That's fine.
Okay, now listen. I just talked about her being a baby. And let's see, Enchanted here said it's a rental. It's probably a furnace room. And I totally agree because we're adults, so we know that's probably like what's up, right? But she's a baby. She's just not her worries. I'm going to college. I'm living in this fun house. I don't care what's behind the padlock. She's a baby. She has like baby focuses in her life. Not adult is what I'm saying. I shouldn't keep saying baby. But then remember, the officer who's speaking to her right now is also not a fully developed adult. He's 22. So we have a 19-year-old survivor who's completely traumatized, traumatized for the rest of her life. Her physical and, structural composition in every cell of her body as this is happening is changing, and it never will be what it would have been were this event have not to happened in her life, like in a huge way. Same for him. These are two babies talking to each other. She's like, what about Kelly and Matt? The other ones, are they okay? Are they upstairs? And he's like, well, we just have to process first. And he says, I don't really know what I can disclose to you. This is Moscow, Idaho, a safe town, a small town that doesn't deal with crime like this. These are a bunch of people doing a really fucking good job at surviving right now and doing their best to do what they have to do to get through this and start to do the right thing to find justice. Dylan and this officer are doing this at 19 and 22 years old. And I just have to stop to continue to point that out because, the way so many people who are commenting loudly on this case frequently and trying to, and sometimes being successful at attracting volumes of viewers, are not presenting things the way they are. And the way they are is like I just said, period. Not because I'm right, because it's just a fucking fact. Like sometimes this, any case, but this case, I found myself doing it. We've talked about it in live streams before. There's so much bullshit out there. Like you have to kind of like walk around. You have to do a little walkthrough of your own brain to make sure where you place the facts and the fiction and then what you like chucked in the fuck it bin is in the right place, because there's so many forces out there trying to confuse people for different reasons. None of them good ones. So let's just all stay straight here. Stay with us here at Watts the Obsession. We'll keep you on the factual, straight and narrow, always looking for truth and justice, because we care and we love you and are so glad you're here.
Okay, let's go back. I just want to make sure we're getting everything. So you're sure at about 4 this morning?
Yes, it was 4:10.
You first noticed a guy.
Well, I first noticed Kaylee go upstairs and scream and run downstairs.
So 4 this morning, Kaylee went upstairs.
Yeah.
the way top.
Yes, to her room with Murphy the dog.
Okay.
And then
And you heard Kaylee scream?
I heard her scream and run as fast as she could downstairs. And she said, someone's here.
She ran downstairs?
Yes, I could hear it. You can hear everything. I'm not sure. I heard her run downstairs really fast. And then I heard Murphy barking a lot.
Okay.
And then I heard her going to the I think it was the bathroom, and I remember her sobbing, and I just remember hearing this guy's voice, and I didn't recognize saying, "You're gonna be okay, I'm gonna help you." But it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it.
I thought that was interesting there, because she's just talking about how she hears, Xana, and then the person say, I'm here to help you. But never before, as far as I know. And listen, man, this case is massive. And I try to keep up on everything I talk about as completely and thoroughly as possible. But I am one human being with a full-time job, a child I'm raising on my own, a giant ass house, 26 bunnies, and I make mistakes. Made them before, I'll make them again. And if I'm making one now, you can totally tell me. And I will go back and fact check myself if I need to. But to this fact, I haven't seen anywhere in a document. I certainly haven't heard it said where she's like, this person said, "Oh, I'm here to help you." But the way he said it was in a weird way, a way that made her feel uneasy. Listen again to how she's describing it for the first time. 19-year-old Dylan Mortensen to this 22-year-old first responding officer who, by the grace of God and his own strength and determination, hasn't thrown his guts up right now, and he's still standing and not passed out with staples in his head like I did just because I got dizzy one time because I had the flu. I don't even know how he's doing what he's doing. But listen to how she describes that person saying to Xana, "I'm here to help you." It really sends chills. Let me know what you think about this. And also, have you heard her through third party or herself, in transcripts or third-party court documents, characterize that person is not in a good way, saying that not in a good way or in an eerie way? Have you heard that before? Or is this the first time we're hearing that?
So I appreciate you. You're doing very well.
Do you know if the other two girls are upstairs or not?
Right now, what we got to do is we got to process this whole thing.
That makes sense.
I don't know what I'd be permitted to tell you
That's fine.
right now.
That's fine. I understand.
Okay, let's go back. I just want to make sure we're getting everything. So you're sure at about 4 this morning?
Yes, it was 4:10.
You first noticed a guy.
Well, I first noticed Kaylee go upstairs and scream and run downstairs.
So 4 this morning, went upstairs
Yeah.
to the way top.
Yes, to her room with Murphy the dog.
Okay.
And then
And you heard Kaylee scream?
I heard her scream and run as fast as she could downstairs, and she said, "Someone's here."
She ran downstairs?
Yes, I could hear it. You can hear everything. I'm not sure. I heard her run downstairs really fast. And then I heard Murphy barking a lot.
Okay.
And then I heard her going to the I think it was the bathroom, and I remember her sobbing, and I just remember hearing this guy's voice, and I didn't recognize saying, "You're gonna be okay, I'm gonna help you." But it wasn't I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't in a nice way. It was a weird way, a weird tone.
You're going to be okay. I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear anything from Kaylee anymore at that
No,
point?
after that I didn't hear anything. So then I kept.
So there, she just said, he said, "Oh, it's okay, I'm here to help you," but I don't know, it wasn't in a good way. It was in a weird way, that I just think that's, different. And it, people, I remember when we read that in the probable cause affidavit, were was it a lot of people said, "Oh, well, then the perpetrator must have been a law enforcement agent or a law enforcement person," because that's something a cop would say, "Hello, I'm here to help you." And I was like, that's not what I was thinking at all, but okay. When I'm at work, every, teenager I encounter, I say that to them, unless everything seems cool and there's something else to talk about. But she right up front characterized that this was not in a good way. She knew it was not in a good way. It was in a bad way. It was in an eerie way, she says. And then she also says here that immediately after she heard that being said, all of the noise stopped. And these little details and the context of it is we're hearing her converse with this 22-year-old first responding officer who is a hero. I think, even though it's only taking her a few seconds to say these things, I think that this is really important to understanding the big picture. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? And what do you think about that? Please let me know.
Calling for her name. I called on my phone. I called Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee. None of them answered. So then I opened up the door to look, and that's when I saw the guy pass by. He looked at me, but he didn't come towards me or say anything, which was really confusing to me. I don't understand that. And I'm pretty sure he went out the side door. And then I called and said she thought maybe there was a fire or like a firework. We didn't know. She heard this loud noise and there was a light, I guess.
Did you hear like a pop, like a bang?
I don't know. Did you hear a bang?
It's what she heard.
Okay.
That's what she heard.
Okay, never mind. You sit there. I didn't hear that.
Hey, where are you going right now?
I'm just going to pick up my phone.
Okay. Where's your friend live? Left, please.
Yeah, I can roll.
Okay.
I don't think I ever heard a bang. I didn't think anything about fire or firework
Or
until
gunshot.
I told her. I don't think I heard anything of that, but I also was kind of in and out of it because I was scared and I was really tired. And that's when I called and I told her, I need to come to your room because she was the only one that was answering me. So I just ran down there, and for a second I stopped and I saw Xana passed out, and I thought maybe she was just like sleeping or something. I didn't think anything because I was so out of it. And I went into the room and we just fell asleep. And then we woke up this morning and no one was waking up at all. Like, no one was answering, which was really weird because all of us wake up around like 9 or 10. And then I called to come check. And he came here first. And I told him what happened. And then I looked in the room and he said, I need to get out and call the cops.
Okay. The guy that you saw, and it was dark, right? Or were there lights on?
I think there were lights on in the house, I believe.
Okay.
I don't really know what he looked like because he had a mask, but he wasn't like super tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10". I think it was maybe my height an inch or two higher or lower. I can't really remember.
Now, I also want to say, after listening to what I have so far of this first initial statements to law enforcement from Dylan Mortensen, and then reading many times over, all of her other interviews, a lot of people like to point out these inconsistencies. Ann Taylor, of course, leading that pack, but it was her job too. I guess she had good reason to, at least. She was tasked with defending the life of Brian Kohberger. A lot of other people who are pointing out Dylan's air quote inconsistencies weren't tasked with anything, but they tasked themselves with, whatever. I don't want to go. I'm going to stay up here with y'all. That's what I'm going to do. We're right here. We're going to stay right here. Okay. All right. I personally have a hard time finding any material inconsistencies. I shouldn't say any. I have a hard time finding, remove the word any, put a line through it. I have a hard time finding material inconsistencies across Dylan's 4 recorded or transcribed interviews, most of which were very lengthy whatsoever. She's incredibly consistent, particularly considering 2 factors: the amount of alcohol she drank, not just before she went to bed, but really in the 24 hours before this, happened. And also what we know to be fact about how the brain protects us as a person. The brain, although largely thought of as being only analytical, is also very compassionate, and our brains protect us when we go through this much trauma in our lives, and they protect us by obscuring the memories that are not going to allow us to move forward in life and, and have those adaptive qualities that are going to keep us alive. If a memory is so horrible, it might literally cause you to shrivel up and die for one reason or another. The brain helps us get rid of it because that is not good for evolution. And at the core of it is all about evolution. And I'm getting a little too behavioral therapist scientific here. But due to those two significant factors, Dylan's 4 lengthy statements should have contained a shitload of inconsistencies. She is remarkably focused, steady, accurate. Clearly, she's being forthcoming, and I really don't know what else you expect from the girl. The girl, not the woman, the young woman, but really she is a girl.
So about 6 foot.
I think so. Around there.
How was he built? Fat, skinny, stocky?
More like skinny, but like basketball player kind of skinny, like not too skinny, but like almost fit skinny in a way.
And I'm so sorry to stop again. I initially paused because Sis Vicious made a comment saying that she was confused about Kaylee. How did she hear her here, there, and everywhere? And then she also said, Sis said, I was paraphrasing, did she run down amidst him attacking Maddie? I'm very confused in that part. And I'm sure everyone is, but gosh, I just can't imagine the fear. So what I have concluded, and what some of us here, that are here right now, concluded together through personal conversations or chats or whatever, and I think other people have concluded, my exposure to this case really, unless I am sort of just like, okay, I'm going to admit I do a little of the hate watching of those channels that are like making me really mad. It's not hate watching. I know people call that, but I want to like keep a temperature. And well, also, I would say our 2 friends, Ethan Chapin's fraternity brothers, I would say they hate watch, but they have reason to, and they make me aware of when there's like a spike in the BS factor and how they're characterizing the roommates. Are very protective of Bethany and Dylan. A lot of people are. But my exposure to this case is with our research team, our moderation team, me, myself, in the vacuum of my own brain, which isn't really a good thing. You guys here, the channel community and the chat, like I said, this is where we find the most reliable information, and I'm good with that. And I don't want to obscure my own brain with letting the wishy-washy in. With that being said, most of us here at Watch the Obsession feel pretty certain that when, like Dylan was just saying, oh, and then I heard Kaylee run up the stairs and down the stairs, and then the assailant said to her, I'm here to help you. That was actually Xana. And there's several reasons that we know that she was probably thinking it was Kaylee, but it was really Xana. Just because you could see how she could make those errors. But also, we, know that Xana was up. We know she got that DoorDash. We know very accurately now the times of the attacks, and that Xana's movements, in particular, suspicious. You'll love this, being the forensic data brilliant woman that you are. Flights and steps. Does that remind you of the Chris Watts case? It does me. But according to her cell phone data, the flights and steps, right at the time, that she would have picked up her DoorDash, assailant would have entered, would have had enough time to take the lives of Maddie and Kaylee. Her phone clocks distance and elevation, meaning that she was moving around a distance that would be potentially equivalent to going and picking up her food, walking up to Maddie and Kaylee's room, and then trying to get back to her room, to Ethan, and to safety before she is attacked with all those defensive wounds and over 50 stab wounds. And then also the change in elevation indicates that she went up to the 3rd floor. So the way it seems it's turning out is that she did go up to the 3rd floor, hearing those noises, trying to protect Kaylee and Maddie, was startled by what she saw. But in this regard, she was a hero, because many believe, including myself, the reason he left the knife sheath, not that he would have not done a dumbass move like that all on his own, because he is obviously a dumbass. I believe he probably dropped it initially and lost track of it, because he was startled by Xana. So in that regard, she's an absolute hero. Does that make sense? And I hope it answers your question. So I'm not going to try to interrupt. We're just going to listen to Dylan. Excuse me.
That's what I think. I don't know for sure.
And then the voice, he said, when he said those words, you didn't recognize that voice before.
I didn't recognize him or his voice. I mean, I also couldn't see him, but I didn't recognize that voice at all. It didn't even cross my mind if that could be.
Did you guys have a party last night too? Or?
Not tonight, but there was and we had like a formal thing beforehand. That was 2 days ago.
Okay. Is there anything that popped out about that event that was concerning?
No, I mean, I went to Ethan, who is with my friend Xana, and who are dating when Xana went there. I was there for a little bit, and then I went to my friend's house down the street, and then I came back home with my friend. Everything was fine, nothing weird at all, nothing suspicious until 4 a.m.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any more questions for you right now.
Okay, if you didn't.
Somebody else will.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's grab that. Let's go back over there. All right. Who else lives here? Can I get your last name, please? Okay. Hey.
It's his brother's walking out this way.
Okay. Do you mind hanging out here, please? You said, okay. Can you spell that for me? Do you have a middle name? What's your date of birth? What's a good phone number to reach you at?
I just want to read this one comment by Sirius Black because I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm an alumni of Villanova University. Yes, I am. That was my college. I've talked about that on this channel before. Also, you know who else is an alumni of Villanova University? The Pope. Yeah. I went to the same college as the Pope. I'm not even like a super Catholic. I was made to be a Catholic by my father. Left the church completely. Sometimes think it's okay now. I'm not a highly religious person, so I'm just kidding. But the Pope did go to Villanova. But yesterday, did you guys hear about those 3 hoax reports of, violent like lockdown incidents at 3 different schools? The last one of them being Villanova, where there was a report of an active shooter on campus. I'm getting to a point here. I'm going to do the Idaho case. It won't take long. Don't worry. My mom texted me about it. I was like, oh my God. And, I turned it right on to see that was like really upsetting. It ended up being a hoax, but it also happened in a school in Nashville and in Chattanooga, all on the same day. I know that the Villanova University was alerted like through a vandal alert, as a wildcat alert. Even the alumni communication system sent out not an alert like you're there. well, actually, it did tell people to not be in these certain areas on campus, but alumni of that school are very active. It was sent to the alumni and greater community about 20 minutes after the people that they knew were right on the campus, the student body. Was able to, I went a couple channels and gave them this information because they were getting wrong information. I was like, guess what? I'm a Villanova alum. I'm not going to talk about this on YouTube today. It was a hoax. Here you go. It was kind of fun because there was no active shooter, and thank God there was no active shooter. So Sirius Black says, I think Kaylee and Maddie were Dylan's heroes, so to speak. She absolutely looked up to them. I remember my older sisters meant so much to me when I was a newbie. Kindness goes a long way. Well, I was also in a sorority. I was a Delta, Delta, Delta. And guess what? When that craziness was going on at Villanova, the first person I talked to, who is in Japan right now, her husband, who was her boyfriend in college, that he works in Japan like full time. They're a beautiful family. They live in Japan. Was my big sis, my big sorority sister. Love you, Shannon. We are still super close. And I see, and when I was reading this for Sirius Black, I just wanted to mention, I see a lot of that, like same closeness that I can relate to of the relationships I had in college, going to a college similar to this, being in Greek life, and I'm an only child, and really, something bad happens, at our old college, and the first person I talked to is my sorority big sister. She is like extended family to me. And so are other people I'm friends with from college, particularly that were in my sorority. It doesn't have to be that way. It just is for me. And they're really important people in our lives. And I think for the people that lived in this house, they had those connections too. They had that importance and significance in one another's life. And I think when you're listening to Dylan talking right now, and Bethany is just really broken apart. She almost can't even talk. That really is coming through. And I just want to give that narrative of this bigger picture of this story and the relationship dynamics that were existing in the lives of these beautiful young people before this tragedy happened, because it's important that we tell their story for what it is, rather than trying to make it something everybody else wants it to be. Think Shiners and Shanann Watts or whatever. We love Shanann Watts, but we're going to tell Shanann's story for what it is. And I just want to say, hold me to it. I'm committed to doing that with all of the people involved in this tragedy. And I just want to put that in your mind as something to consider. Other creators is something to consider. Let's respect, honor the memories or the lives of these people in a really good way, and just tell their story for what it is. And I don't know, just look at them for the amazing people they were, and give their relationships the respect, the admiration, and the kind of ability for everything in their relationships to not always be our business because we can, because of YouTube, all of the time. I did get a little sidetracked there, but I think it's an important point to make.
And then is your driver's license through what state? What state is your driver's license through? Do you have a room that's assigned to you here? When you go in?
No one else does.
Were you here last night? Okay. Is it okay if you walk over to my car with me and we can talk over there? Okay. I'll tell you the same thing I told her, is you guys are probably going to be talking to a lot of people, retelling the same story. So,
Am I still allowed to go home soon?
we can't hold you forever. Okay. So we'll cross that bridge when it gets there, and the detectives will work with you guys.
See, is that Dylan or Bethany now? One of them. Am I still allowed to go home soon for Thanksgiving? There's our kids. They're kids that are way from home and their families for the first time, and they're, sometimes, they're freaking kids, man. This just shows their innocence. And McGee just said, I think that, Dylan would have gotten less flack if this was released sooner. I agree, but I totally agree with you, McGee. I think you're 100% right. But, I don't think that says anything about whether or not this should have or should not have been released sooner, or whether, people should have or should not have attacked her the way that they did. They should not have. There was no basis to, there was no reason to. And I can tell you that for a fact, because on this channel and this channel alone, we gave you every counter reason to every reason that any creator said they had any right to attack, slander, degrade, or do anything less than respect these young women, but really girls.
Guys, get a hold of you however we best can. Okay. So you were here last night. What time frame were you here through now? Were you here the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. What time did you get here last night?
Can I check?
Yeah. While you do that, I'll turn off my lights here. I'll be right back. I forgot you were here, man. Do you still want to hang out here?
I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose right now. We're processing what's going on in the scene. As soon as we know for sure, we can tell you guys what's going on. We absolutely will. I know it sucks to be in the dark with this, but okay. And what's your relationship again? Okay. Yeah, man. As soon as I know we're able to fill you in on what's going on, we'll let you know. Okay. Like I said, you're welcome.
Is that Hunter? Is that Hunter Chapin? I think it is. Does anyone know for sure? I think it's Hunter Chapin.
I forgot you were here, man. Do you still want to hang out here?
Where's that?
I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose right now. We're processing what's going on in the scene. As soon as we know for sure, we can tell you guys what's going on with this. But okay. And what's your relationship again?
No, I think that's Hunter Johnson. Okay. Hunter Chapin is here, if not already at this point, very, very soon. He got there very, very quickly. And then Maisie a bit later, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. As soon as I know we're able to fill you in on what's going on, we'll let you know. Okay. Like I said, you're welcome to get out at any point. If you want to hang out in here, you can. Because it's warm. If not, you want to hang out with them, you're gonna hang out outside too. Okay. Tell you what, I'll just crack the door. I'll try to not lock it on you, so can I get water? We can start. Yeah, we can see if somebody can bring some of that stuff by. Okay.
Okay, that was Ethan's friend, Hunter Johnson, that was just in the car right there, okay? And at that point, and I don't know if this is something they were talking about, he either knew that Hunter Chapin was either there, and apparently there was a time where Hunter Chapin was there, and he was intentionally avoiding him because he almost felt like Hunter would see what he saw or knew. You know, like he wasn't there yet. He wasn't there yet. Although Hunter Chapin was looking for him. And then there was a time when they were there together. So I'm not sure where we are in that timeline, but that person that you just saw on camera was Hunter Johnson.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so what time were you here last night?
About like 1:24 or something in the morning.
Today?
Yeah.
1:24 you got here? Okay, what was going on at about 1:24?
Me and my friend watching Vampire Diaries on the couch.
You and... Okay. Watching Vampire Diaries.
That's right. That's right. Hunter Chapin is wearing a pink sweater. That's right. Yep. That's 100% correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
You...
And then she's just one of my friends. I'm sitting over there fighting stuff.
Oh, okay. All female.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you guys watching Vampire Diaries out in this the second level? Okay, and then for how long?
I don't know. And then Maddie and Taylor came home from the club. And then we all hung out in Taylor's room for a little.
So Maddie and Kaylee were at the club.
Yeah.
You know how long they were there? Probably till closing at least.
I don't know. They went to drug truck afterwards.
Drug truck. Okay, and then they came home at about what time? It's okay. You're doing great. So they did get home at 2?
Yes.
How do you know that?
I just have a picture of Kelly's room with Murphy.
Okay, then what happened after that?
And then me and Maddie took out Murphy, and then
Murphy's the dog?
yeah,
Okay.
and then I went inside to go to bed, and she was still taking him out. And then I was in my bed, like about to go to sleep.
McJay, I checked all the different versions that are out there, and they're comparable. Actually, Long Crime, the one I'm playing this one because it's probably the best. I did send this very version to my tech guy. He's going to see what it would take to clean it up. Sometimes he can do it pretty easily. Sometimes he can tell me what program, what steps to do it myself. There's other times there are things that people really wanted, and it was going to literally be thousands of dollars to clean it up because it was just so complicated and time consuming. So he's going to get back to me tomorrow morning anyway, he said. So I'll see what he says he can do, which will give you an indication of if others are going to go for it or not, unless someone has already gone through the process. But I feel like lately with like cleaning that stuff up, I feel like people are lazier about it than they used to be. I feel like when there were like less and smaller true crime creators, we were more diligent about doing that. So if anybody does know of better audio for this, definitely let me know. Or for anything, let me know. We always want the best for you guys.
And Maddie just said that she lost Murphy. Like she was and was wondering if he was with me, and I just said no. And then we went to bed.
Oh, I was.
What time do you think you fell asleep?
That is so funny, PKC. I was just thinking, and I was like turning myself off. I was like, I wonder if Chef H is already on this. Has he already done it? He's already done it? Awesome. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think to check it. I'm going to check right now, actually, and we'll switch to that if he's already done it. Jeff, he's amazing. He does it so quickly, too. He's really good at what he does. We love you, Jeff H. And he's also a very facts with Jeff H. He's very honest, and there's no pretense or bullshit about him. Good channel. If you don't know him, check him out. You'll definitely get good audio and more.
Maybe 2:30.
Okay. What time did you wake up at all between 2 and?
I heard something like loud and really like large. I usually like he barks at things. And then I thought I saw like a firecracker, so I thought someone maybe was just drunk and like put a firecracker in the house. But I wasn't even really sure because I was kind of still asleep, so I wasn't sure if it was like real.
Okay, I'm going to put Jeff H's channel link in the description. Jeff H I mean, you know, you guys know what I mean by that. I think he's amazing. I think he should have 1 million subscribers. He has just over 4,000 subscribers. We should all go subscribe 10 times to Jeff H, because seriously, guys, if you do not know him, he really is quality. And I am so happy to be able to share that with you. I love, spreading the good word, good creators. Hell yeah. Let's talk about it. Jeff H. I'll put the link to his channel in the description. Don't put in chat right now, because sometimes I think that causes people to leave. And I love you guys. I want you to say, promise you I'll put you in the description and go right after this. But I'm going to bring in his version. So you're going to see the work he does quickly too, as soon as I can get it downloaded.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm listening to a couple things at a time. Loud, you thought you saw a firecracker because of a quick flash?
Yeah, through like my door, but I was like still half asleep, so I don't know if it was like real. I thought it was maybe a dream.
Okay. And then did you ever like pick up your phone to see what time that was? Or?
Okay. Oh, maybe I might have called her and asked her what was happening, because sometimes we hear things and I'll call her and be like, oh, what was happening? She's usually just pooping.
Okay.
You guys are
5 hours ago, Jeff H posted a video, Officer Nunez body cam with improved sound quality. All right. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And thank you, Law and Crime, for providing us this. And I really didn't think it was that bad, but we always want the best, right? So we're at 3841. It should be identical, except for with better audio. That's so exciting. So I'm just going to swap them out. Okay. So everyone hold on, hold your breath. We're going to come right back up for some air. Just give me about 45 seconds. I'm sorry, my brain just froze. Give me about 52 seconds. Oh, this is so cool. I'm so glad we were able to talk about his channel. Now you guys are going to actually witness the difference in what he did so quickly and the sound quality. Thanks for asking that, McJane. Thank you for those of you who had the answer and offered it. And thank you, Jeff H. All right, we'll go there. We'll bring it in. Oh, is it right? Yep. Uh-oh, I'm confused now. Shit. Oh my God. Wait. Better sound. Okay, there we go. That's the right one. All right. Whoa.
Loud, you thought you saw a firecracker because of a quick flash?
Yeah. Whoa, that is way better. God, I'm sorry I didn't find this earlier. I really did look. But you know what? I probably was looking for it just about the time when he put this out. So, okay, well, now you know. Yay. Yay for us. Win for us. Go team.
Through like my door, but I was like still half asleep, so I don't know if it was like real. I thought it was maybe a dream.
Yeah. And you know I love Drunk Turkey Show and I love Daniel. You know, we've always been good. We're always tight, but all all of DT's good versions are because he's tight too with Jeff H. So, and nothing against Daniel. Daniel does what he does, and his channel's amazing. I think he's great. I have so much admiration for him. But the source of the audiovisual goodness, when it gets better, is Jeff H. if it's real.
And then did you ever pick up your phone and see what time it was? Or?
Oh, maybe I might have called and asked her what was happening just in case we hear things, and I'll call her and be like, oh, what was that? And she should just loop in.
Okay.
Do you guys recognize all these vehicles in here?
Yeah. I tried to call Maddie and Ethan and Xana and all them at like 4:20.
So you called
I tried to call
Maddie
answering, but
at what time?
4:30 and 4:22. And then 21.
Okay.
And then Ethan at 4:22. And then Kaylee at 4:31. I thought that was me.
4:31.
Yeah.
So no answer, and then did you go to sleep after that?
Yeah, I just kind of fell asleep again. I was like half awake.
Okay. And then what throughout your day did you got up at what time today?
I like woke up and my jaw was feeling really bad. It keeps me out at like 6 or 7, and then I just went back to bed. So I figured no one would be up anyways. And then I didn't wake up until I called you guys.
Okay. Moscow 70 Peg at the time this call was generated. Copy, thank you. All right. Do you remember seeing anybody in there that was
I'm
locked?
staying the whole time with my door locked. That's why I always look at it. I didn't really hear anything either. I thought they were just being like loud and making food.
Very typical. Okay. Do you have any parent contact information for?
I know Maddie is.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no. I know her boyfriend.
Okay. What's Maddie's boyfriend's name? Is anybody having any issues with any boys?
He wasn't poison.
Okay. So he wouldn't be up here right now. And then I was talking to you about the formal stuff, right?
No, that was her.
Okay, so you guys have the
I got some
formal.
people over for formal yesterday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No issues?
Mhm.
Okay, everybody got along? All right. And you were out here when I rolled up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was maybe.
Okay. So I don't know if I have any other questions for you right now. Okay, I appreciate that you did very well. You're calling as things become more clear. Write them down or something so you don't forget.
Okay.
Sound like a good plan? Like I said, some other people are going to be talking here. And then we'll make sure everybody has the detective service number or the detective information, and so that you can reach out to us if anything comes to mind, and not just wait for us to reach out to you. That makes sense? Okay. Physically, are you doing fine otherwise? Okay. All right, we'll go back there. Thank you very much. Does anybody else live here? Okay. Who, by show of hands, who was all here when I got here? Sorry, back to you two. Okay. All right. One second. So, Maddie.
Now, I saw you guys commenting. I don't like how, like, G of Trans and welcome. How are you doing? It's great to see you here. You don't like how they left those traumatized kids out in the cold. And like, I get that in a sense. And then another part of my brain is like, well, you know, when the officers arrived on the crime scene, essentially, other than a couple additions of students who wanted to be there, including Ethan's brother, those were the students, those were the individuals who were present in the crime scene that these two young, one super rookie, the other really rather rookie officers walked into, just two of them, where they witnessed a sight they will never forget, obviously, for slain young college students. And there were just a few people on the scene. I mean, obviously, protocol would be anybody who's on the scene of a murder, when law enforcement arrives, who's standing there, they are not allowed to go. So they had to, you know, keep them. Obviously, they're not going into custody, but they had to be somewhere. At the same time, you know, we've acknowledged kind of the lack of experience in a crime of this magnitude Moscow had. And they brought, you know, other forces on quickly, but not this quickly. We have to remember, Officer Nunez responded, I think it was like 2 minutes, or I dare say, I feel like it was almost even a little less than when the 911 call was, okay, you know, we're going to get you help. Because he was right there. He was literally around the corner, as is the police station. So, you know, when this camera start rolling, the body cam start rolling, the 911 call had literally just ended, or maybe was just ending as they started rolling the body cam footage. So they go in, they find Xana and Ethan. Remember the size of this town, the size of the Moscow police department. I used to remember what that was, but guys, it is not very big at all. I moved from, living in New York City, Philadelphia Center City, and then North Jersey, went back to the area I grew up in. The town I live in right now is less than 10,000 people. The Moscow Police Department had less personnel in its police department than does my very, very small town. So like, that's what we're working with, right? So what were they going to do with these traumatized cold kids? You know what I mean? I don't think they would have, those friends of these victims would have left even if they were asked to. Plus, for investigative purposes and police and protocol, at the scene of 4 murders, they had to keep them there. So I just wanted to put that into perspective. But, you know, I'm not saying you're wrong at all, but you know, sometimes that stuff makes me a little upset. Then I'm like, well, wait a minute. What was the other option? And maybe there's another wonderful option I'm not thinking of, but really, are there any wonderful options for the people we're seeing in the body cam here, law enforcement students and all? No, they were all in a very, very bad position, unequipped and completely unprepared and unarmed, guns aside, for what they had to deal with. And I really think that all of them did the very best that they could on this day at this time. That's my opinion.
And Kaylee were at the club last night. They got grub truck after. I don't know if they ran into anybody that maybe had issues there. They just had a formal the other day when without a hitch. There's no issues at formal. And there's nobody that they should be having bad blood. So obviously follow up need to be done at the club and the grub truck released. I did a very preliminary interview with the 2 people that live here and that were here last night. Everybody else I'm about to identify was not here last night, but was here in the parking area when I rolled up. So I'll just get that information.
Anybody asks, is any of these questions?
Max Randall, I'm not following you anymore. And what are you talking? You're like, I didn't say what it said, but I'm not seeing what. Could you clarify what you're talking about for me? I'm sorry if I'm missing something. I want to respond to your comments, but I'm getting a little bit lost.
Ryan asked, sounds like they recognize all these vehicles to include some of the ones down there.
If they ask, you need to leave for the time being.
Okay.
We need to start, once Tyson gets here, we'll start figuring out how to get this somewhere warm.
Yeah. A couple of them did ask about like bottles of water or something. I don't know if there's anybody logistically that can work that out. We can call EMS
I have
too.
a couple bottles in the car.
Okay. I know would be willing to help out however they can.
Okay, I'll go grab those out of my car.
Okay.
And then
We keep asking what's the status of all four people. I don't we're
they are.
figuring it out.
They are.
If they ask, dude. Okay.
And the last thing I want to say about that, and I appreciate everything you guys are saying, I think we're kind of all talking through it together, is, you know, I think the way the officers are treating the surviving roommates and all these students is extremely compassionate. I think they're asking the right questions. I think they're getting relevant, important information with what to go off of. Nothing other than they walked into a house with 4 slain college students. I mean, and horribly, horribly slain. Damn. You know, I think in the big picture, at this point in the investigation, these officers are fucking phenomenal. I truly do. And the students are conducting themselves in a phenomenal way. I think these people are really all heroes and did a large part of the, you know, significant, untainted investigation before it became all the things that it quickly became, that were things other than helpful and untainted. That's what I'm going to say.
What's your name?
Yeah, and KDP, I think that Hunter Johnson, I keep thinking about that too, and you just feel for him so much. I think he needed to be alone at this point. His girlfriend was there. He was not with her. You know, he had thrown up a few times. He was not well. What Hunter Johnson really needed probably was medical attention. But even if offered to him, he was the one other than law enforcement that knew what was going on, that he knew what happened to Xana. He saw it, and he saw what there was to take in of Xana fully. Let's just say that. He did not see Ethan. And that was because, and I've been telling you guys this for almost 2 years, and I know many of you believe me because the Chapins knew and Ethan's fraternity brothers knew. It was not possible for Hunter to see Ethan other than the form of his body that was covered by blanket at that point because of the nature of the most significant wound Ethan received, and then an unnatural positioning of his body. That's all we need to know, but it is 100% Hunter did not see Ethan. And people are still trying to dispute that too, but I told you, I talked to a Chapin family member about that, a conversation that will never be repeated, and there ain't no way.
Mind just hanging out with them for a second?
Okay. So cuff you. So listen. So As far, I keep seeing the comments, and I understand, like, I'm baffled by the lack of police presence. Everybody who was on duty or on a provisional, like an on-call duty in the Moscow Police Department is present at this point. And they give the time when all those people were present, and it was very quick. And again, we have to consider into that equation that that Officer Nunez was there in less than 10 minutes after dispatch called for law enforcement to arrive at the scene. So he was there very quickly. There's very few people to show up. They're behind the house, they're inside the house, they're there with the students, they're figuring out what the fuck to do, because double the amount of officers that are on scene now, that's the entire Moscow Police Department plus some administrative people. Okay, there is no protocol for this, and that except for anaphylaxis, and you can tell me if I'm off here, you're the expert, but what I would imagine is if they go into their training and situations that they know are beyond the scope of their resources, and then they have to call in, their investigative law enforcement partners, which they did. And they did it quickly. There were 22 FBI personnel on the case, on site, barring 2 of them because they were intended to not be on site, in under 48 hours of this crime happening. To be exact, it was 42 hours. Within 42 hours, they had 22 FBI agents, barring 2 who were off scene because that's what their job called for, on the scene. I mean, guys, again, this video is, let's see how far we are into it. We are 46 minutes into this video. This video starts at ground zero when law enforcement arrives there. So what we are witnessing right now is what was happening approximately 46 minutes after the first responding officer arrived on the scene for a town of Moscow, Idaho, the crime they're used to seeing, the crime they're used to dealing with, how they're used to staffing, depending on when they normally need people. Yeah, if, a noise complaint, more officers show up, more officers are on duty at those times because they get the noise complaints when kids are partying. There's football games. Moscow Police Department, that is, their crime interaction is with keeping kids safe, and making their university community run well, protecting the citizens of that community. That's what they do. That usually does not entail responding to a quadruple homicide. They are not equipped, not prepared for it, and given the resources they have that are, strategized for what they anticipate they should be prepared for, I don't think they're doing so bad. And I don't have any questions of like, well, I can't believe this. I mean, yes, people who know how a forensic investigation should be done. They've been doing it for years and years. They're veterans, they're experts, they're tried, they're true, they're practiced, they're the best in their field, or maybe they're just very good in their field. They have a lot of more practice in solving or investigating this kind of crime because they were investigators in an area where there was more of this kind of crime, like, expanding the crime scene, blocking off the crime scene, like all these different things we hear people talk about. But, they are what they are. They're a little police department comprised, it seems, nearly entirely of rookies, and not a lot of even the higher ranking people having highly specialized training and things that are like, they know what the fuck they were doing. They're doing their best. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. I'm talking circularly now. I'm getting tired.
got a colon dressing, alcohol pain. We need to talk.
Listen, you guys are killing me. Cars driving through too. Yeah, there are, and there shouldn't be. But guys, again, with the amount of people they had and resources they had, what were they going to do? Go away from, interviewing the only witness, keeping the people who were there at the scene of a quadruple murder, there and contained while they figure out what the fuck to do, having people going inside the house, around the property, seeing if they can find any initial leads, these things that they need to find very quickly to have a chance at solving this expediently are fleeting. So what are we going to do? Send 2 of their 7 or 8 dudes down to the end of the street to hold their palm out to cars so they don't come through? I just I don't know. I don't want to get lost in the nitpicky on this. I mean, there definitely are real questions, but I don't know. I don't know. Do 6 of you want to go with me, and we'll see what we could do in this time period and see if we could also control traffic, and maybe we could put the kids in the back of the car, which is, as Anaflexa said, normal procedure, or maybe we're reading the room and, they're holding each other and we're seeing maybe that's just not going to happen. And maybe Hunter Chapin is in the back of the car and we need to keep that back of that vehicle for him because he's throwing up, can barely contain himself. Yes, he was gray, and might need some really serious medical help at any time now. And by the way, we've got to keep eyes on him. And don't they were definitely aware of that. He was not okay. You know what I mean? And there are all these things going on that none of us know about, that required attention, And this guy again here is 22 years old. And most of the people that were here at this point were rookies or not too far from it, man. It's I don't know. I mean, I've been in obviously not situations like this, but I can think of things that I'm, kind of comparing it to in my mind. And you're just I don't know. You've got to build a freaking aircraft with marshmallows and toothpicks. It ain't easy.
We have family members walking up. Sir Ethan from
Oh, and by the way, something we always bring up, and rightfully so, you can hear in the question and everything that's going on, they also have to, they're people identifying the victims. They got the information they could from, Dylan and I'm sure others. They have to notify the families. I don't think there's anyone there yet. There will be soon, or maybe it's this guy. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly who everyone is, who was the clear leader in the situation. If you don't know who's the chief, if you got 7 Indians and no chief, that's also a little shit. I hope the chief gets here soon. I'm not even talking about police chief. I'm talking about Native American chief. Can we say Indian? I don't know. We were talking about that in my work the other day. Anyway, and I'm not saying anyone's wrong or trying to, tell anyone, we shouldn't talk about this, but always, always, always here I'm trying to facilitate conversation where we're looking at the big picture for what it is and considering, all factors. And the goal always is justice. The goal always is truth. The goal always is, compassion, doing things for the right reasons, not harming other people. This is what we do here. But also when we need to point things out that are wrong, when we need to ask questions, when we need to, not want to say, oh, fuck, look, we just discovered this because we've been going down the fact path and this is not what we were thinking it's going to be. And it's ugly and it might cause problems for the channel. And this is just not what we want to talk about or whatever. Well, if that's where the evidence and facts leads us, that is where we are going to go. So all I'm doing is pointing out the things I would always only point out in any case. I just got some text. Don't anyone get sensitive and think I'm getting on you specifically, because I'm not, because I love y'all. But let's keep watching. And damn, Jeff H., what did you say, suspicious? That we always love You're so funny. But he did a really great job with this audio. So yeah, so this is the version of this body cam you should be watching for now. And I'm having a feeling for all future releases from the ISP, Moscow PD, or FOIA otherwise, give Jeff about 5 hours, and then you're going to go want to find the improved audio quality on his channel, and also spread the word to others.
Where do you want me to start?
I will talk to them. Can you start as if you want?
Okay.
Can you have this information?
What are we trying to search this residence?
Yep.
Okay.
To really help us here. Hey, I just talked to our shift sergeant. Guy back and start the search warrant right now.
And then the last calls too, this is the timestamp right after it happened. Is at 4:21, 4:22, 4:30. She made these phone calls immediately after the bang.
Okay. Okay. Trying to call the people that are in this. And no one answered.
No one answered.
Perfect.
You really want to shut this down so Travis not going through?
I can do that. All right. Thanks, Darren. All right. Sounds like a good possibility of that. Okay. We haven't seen the audio shot one here yet, so and then what did your lady say about someone coming in? Seeing somebody coming in?
She saw a guy masked, about 6 foot, skinny built like a basketball player. She described. Said that he had a.
Oh wait, sorry, and all the other stuff we were just talking about. Oh yeah, and by the way, you got to go find the fucking bastard that committed this crime, right? Let's not forget that. Yikes, right? I mean, I just wow. I mean, thank you to everybody who does at I could not. It's immense.
Full black mask, see like a ski mask. At about 4. Immediately after, she yelled and said, "There's someone in the house." This girl ran, locked herself in the room. Could hear a roommate that was upstairs, Kaylee. Somehow she was able to discern that it was Kaylee screaming. Then she could hear this masked man saying, "Sorry."
You tell Brett.
She could hear him say, "You're gonna be fine. I'm gonna help you." And then
Shut off? Yeah.
Is there anything else you want from me for now? I can start heading back.
Yeah.
Search warrant, as far as the search warrant goes.
Good description of the place.
Okay.
A couple photos and describe everything.
Okay.
What are you doing? Well, get in town. We've got a quadruple homicide. Yeah. 1122 Queen Road. No.
Yep, sounds good. And then I gotta grab my phone. You're looking for any shell casings, knives, or just any indicia weapons used.
Weapons, signs of force, or tools to break into building, electronic devices, etc., etc.
Okay.
Main thing is just get the body of it. Let's take this time. We were scratched here. Prosecutor, when you get hold of the on-call prosecutor, tell them.
So I know it is right around this time, and I'll have to do a timeline again. I didn't get to watch this video all the way through until I just watched it with you guys, because my day job was crazy this week, and It's right around this time when, not even uniformly, but some of the students that are right there start getting the vandal alerts. And I'm not going to say anything more definitive about that because I have to make a timeline because I want to be totally correct on it. But that was a little rough. Yeah. But again, with this amount of law enforcement personnel and then coordinating it with the university, who I think really just played Mr. Cockblock clusterfucker, and then having a real, true, obvious need to communicate to the student body, the community at the university, and the greater community, because there was obviously a real threat of the most horrific kind right there. This was just hard. But the way things happened for these surviving roommates and the other students, from what I understand, has been really hard on them.
I'll do that. Let them know that we're working on a search warrant and the nature of it, and then we'll go from there. They'll have a long list.
Okay, you want these are the three names.
I don't know the first one.
Okay.
I'm going to probably do a quick walkthrough and then go back. I'll make it tedious thing.
I haven't finished identifying everybody here. I'll let Shane know so you can delegate that to somebody else.
Good point.
Hey, boss, I got to get going to start some paperwork back to the station. So, imagine you don't want to go with me. I'll have to stay here. Like I said, we'll let you know as soon as we can fill you in. Okay.
Now remember, this interaction between each of these law enforcement members and Hunter Johnson specifically here, there's a very unique thing going on because law enforcement knows that Hunter Johnson is the only of those students that know definitively in the very beginning, and who knows how this changes throughout with the, the nature of the vandal alerts, as I just described, whatever, that that murder is involved. And we know that Hunter knew that definitively because he saw everything there was to see involving Xana's crime scene. Hunter himself knows within himself that he knew more just than what his eyes could see in that moment. And someday maybe he'll talk about that. But law enforcement knew that he knew, and he knew that law enforcement knew that this was much different than any of those other students out there would ever dare to think, or that he wanted them to know, or probably that he could even be, potentially capable of telling them at that moment. And so, when, they're like, do you want to come with us? Do you want to stay here? That interaction with him is different because of that. I mean, nobody's ever described to me like I'm describing to you. There's a couple things I did learn from the fraternity guys about Hunter Johnson's interaction. And what's that fucking woman's name? I can't think of it. It doesn't matter. Whoever you are, I have never talked to Hunter Johnson. I know you like to harass me about that, but I haven't ever. So there's like a unique communication and sort of if you want to call it bond going on with Hunter Johnson and law enforcement. And maybe you guys already knew that, but there, I said all those words anyway. Jeff H, everybody subscribe. I'm so glad we got to see the
We are following breaking news. New video from the house of the parents of a missing 7-month-old child. Those parents.
I can't right now. This is too much in one day for me, guys. This is like a lot of that video that we just watched was a lot to take in. I would suggest give yourself a break from true crime for the next 12 hours. Well, I mean, I don't know. How obsessed are you? At least for now, guys. This is a lot to take in. Do remember that and give yourself grace and space and compassion. There I am. Yeah, that's hard. That's the part I didn't like. They should not have been informed by vandal alert, right? When they're standing right next to police officers. But, like Officer Nunez said directly to Dylan, like, I don't know she asks about Kaylee and Maddie. I really don't know what I am allowed to disclose to you. He's 22-year-old, fresh rookie. I agree. They should not have found out that way. And then, my brain kind of debating with itself. The other part of my brain is like, well, what good way is there to find out? Obviously, there is no good way. But yeah, man, this was just a horrible situation. I mean, yeah. Hey, Muck Boys, how are you doing? It's great to see you. Knox Randall says they've been harassing BK in the vents every way that they can. Good. I hope he gets a good, never mind. I'm a lady. I can't say what I'm about to say. Imagine the end to my sentence. I hope he gets a good soon. And maybe a few times a day would be even better. Let's see. It is so hard to hear. I don't want to go there. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people are gonna play all kinds of games with his price on his head, whether they really can put a price on that or not. I know a few people who can, and I wonder if they will. It's gonna be interesting to find out which way things are gonna go. I can't even say anything else I'm thinking right now because it's just so not like how I don't know. I don't know. Bad things will happen to him. And if they're stories and they're accurate, I will retell those stories. I have no problem with that. Okay. All right, guys. I was thinking about just introducing something else, but I don't think so. I think that was, like I said, enough to take in. Does anyone else have any comments, anything you'd like to point out about what we saw? I do want to wrap soon. I will post a link to panel. If anyone does feel like they just need to come up and say something, you're welcome to do that. It's not going to be lengthy or anything. Because I'm tired, man, and I'm doing a live stream tomorrow night. It's going to be a Watts live stream, and I'm going to be introducing Kathleen McKenna Hudson's new book on the Watts case. Well, it's Girls of Summer. Oh, God, I owe a couple of you that book still. Oh, God. Tomorrow's Saturday. Okay. People I still have to send. I don't have a lot and I'm also have a few more copies to give away. If I owe you a book because you won a raffle, I will send it out tomorrow morning. I already have them addressed and packaged and everything. I just haven't dropped them off. So they'll be there soon. And we're going to share some new information with you. And it's going to be really exciting. There'll be another live stream Monday night. Idaho or Adelson probably. And some new content coming out. And, all the good things. Did I post the panel link yet? Oh, I am really tired. There it is. PKC, I think he expected a mint on his pillow every night, and the cards are just not complying. I hope Big D starts not complying too. Oh my gosh. Sirius Black says those DDs are ready and waiting. I'd imagine, and he knows it too. Don't care. Right. Don't care what anyone is saying, but number 163214 is scared. That's good. I hope he is. He's really, I guess, like paranoid about the butt fucking thing, but he's better get used to it. And I'm saying that per his recent harassment and food complaint that we learned about. Oh my gosh. Suspicious says, this is true too. I don't get it either, sis. Sis, you make a good point here. She says, you're always so delicate in your coverage, just as I was pulling out the butt fucking, but and somehow you always have some Looney Tune coming at you sideways. I don't get it. That is the truth. I mean, it's predominantly been the Watts case in this case. In the Watts case, you know, that's just Looney Tune Central. And this case, I think the root of it is the fraternity guys that we're connected to here and us calling out those channels that we're trying to push as you can see here, and this wasn't the point I was going to bring up, but I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to show any content on it. You know, people knew at 6 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, but they didn't call 911 until almost noon. You know, there were all these people. There were hundreds of students outside the house at 8 o'clock, and they all knew. And again, that's why the two fraternity brothers spoke out in concert with the Chapin family. They were horrified, disgusted, and this was when the gag order was, does it cover us? Does it cover them? Does it cover people who are not law enforcement? People were really confused by it. And also, as I've explained to many of you, the fraternities, say Chi and others, the university itself, in different, you know, communities within the university community, you know, they had agreements among the leadership of all of these groups. And then they asked the people, you know, in their community to just do the right thing. And okay, there's this gag order. You know, we don't know if that applies to us. We're a little confused. Some people are like, gag order, good. We shouldn't be talking about it. Others felt like gag order, screw that. Look at all the people out there in the world on YouTube telling all these lies, but we can't tell the truth about people that we care about in our very own community that we love and live in. And that's messed up. And there's all those feelings. But when people started to say, and it started to catch on, that all of these students and people in the university community knew hours and hours before 911 was called, meaning that Ethan and the other victims, close friends, and even family members knew, and some people said this directly, otherwise it was just implied, that violence occurred, and they either left Ethan and the other victims there to die, or knew they were already dead and allowed their dead bodies to remain in that house after being dead. I mean, that was just a bridge too far, you know, and their impulse was to just get on whatever platform they could and go off at that moment. But cooler heads prevailed because of the way that the university community, whether it was for the sake of the victims or self-serving, I don't know. But I think a lot of people in the community, you know, they wanted that protection. They didn't want to think there was anything bad, you know, right within their own like protected community, other than what had already, you know, entered and took 4 of their own. So they just decided, no, we're not going to do that. And since I had been talking to them, we brought up the idea of, I was like, yeah, I freaking hate that shit. I can't believe people are saying that. I'm going to speak out against it anyway, having nothing to do with them. So that's how it all came about. So this really comes full circle for me and for all of us, really, with this body cam being released. Hey, Sis, I'll get you just 1 second. I just saw you. Sorry. In that, you know, it's vindication in a lot of ways for friends of the victim, for the family members, or certain ones at least, that the world can now see with their own eyes, even if they once believed it, that all that bullshit isn't true, that hundreds of students didn't know hours earlier, while they callously allowed their own friends and family members to die or lay there dead, and did just what the fuck were they doing for another 5 hours before they finally called law enforcement? This never made sense, but so many people bought into it. And some of the, family members say of certain victims that of course were deeply affected, but were pretty freaking strong and weren't rattled by a lot. I mean, they were just brought to those rumors in that narrative and how awful it became from their perspective was what almost caused things to go much worse for them. I guess that's all I can say. Let me bring Sis Vicious up. Maybe she'll have some better articulated things to share with you. Hey sis, what's up?
Hey, Kels.
So happy to see ya.
Always a pleasure. I just wanted to say, as we were talking about how the vandal alert went out and things, I think it's important to remember, sort of as you were saying, that, the limited staff. And I mentioned too, there's probably only at the time a handful of officers on duty
Right.
in the entire town.
I think
Okay?
there was 5 or 6 on duty. I think that's what it was. I will find it out. It's very easily accessible. I have it in my own record somewhere too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I know there was just a couple.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody, as soon as they figured out what happened, it wasn't all hands on deck. But you have to think too,
Yeah.
okay, in learning what time this happened, what time emergency services were notified, there's a huge hour gap. So imagine these officers, they're calling into their supervisors. The chief of police has to be notified, sheriff's department, they have to call in the coroner, they have to call in a forensic time. So I think the upper management of the department is probably working on those types of things, facilitating, those units to mobilize. They have to notify the university too, because if you look at this crime, it's not that far-fetched to think too, and getting that alert out, letting people know to be vigilant. All they know at this point is that there's someone on the loose that did this awful thing. There could have been an incident across town. It also lets people, to be vigilant and, be alert if you see something suspicious to start garnering tips, someone dumping something. All those things are in a factor. And also too,
they have 2 critical arenas starting to find this guy. You have to
yeah.
get him, and then protecting the community. And these things aren't the same tasks.
Right. And everybody had a job to do that day. And so as much as I, sympathize on an emotional level that these officers didn't tell them what was going on, they also had a job to do. They're not therapists. They're not parents. They were there to
Well, you know what?
find.
That is a really good point too, because being told by somebody who is not qualified to handle your response and to facilitate you through that immediate trauma, and how going through that immediate trauma is going to have a lasting impact depending on how it goes, might not be better than a vandal alert. It could be worse.
Well, and what also it makes worse is it's very critical at that time to get as much information, especially from the people that were there in the house at the time. They know that at least one of them got at least a glimpse of the person inside the home. Imagine the pandemonium that site would have become to try and manage and then still get information if they had told everyone what was happening. It would have completely held hostage the job that they were there to do.
Absolutely.
And so I from one side I can see, because I wouldn't want to find out from a vandal alert, but for the officer's perspective, I mean, that would have completely shattered any hopes of getting even the smallest detail that could have helped in the investigation. And we find out later down the road, the very things that she said in that first initial interview ended up in the PCA. So imagine if they never got that until later. You want to get the most information you can from the freshest memory available, and I just don't think it would have done any service to the case.
One person, and that was Dylan Mortensen in that moment, and he captured it. He did it.
Yes, and so imagine everyone's crying and falling apart, and again, what are they supposed to do? Then the investigation is completely on hold while they're consoling everybody. I just don't think that would have been
No.
the best service to the victim. So
Absolutely. That's such a great point. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Yeah. And for all of us, and even, I mentioned some things earlier that weren't, things some of you were considering now suspicious. These are things I wasn't even considering. So this is why we're talking about this. And, I feel like our community, we really want to have a full understanding of the crime of, these human aspects of it that our minds need to understand. That is why we are all here. It is, Watch the Obsession is the name of the channel, is kind of a jest, but it really is a compulsion to understand these, outer ranges of human potentiality in the worst way. It is all part of that adaptive survival mechanism we have that I keep talking about that really drives us. And that's why people say, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that anymore. Shut up, man. People are going to talk about that. You cannot stop. You cannot stop the machine of humankind. Okay. It's not like really a choice as to whether, how, we are going to consciously decide today the level of horrificness, the topics we are going to discuss with one another. No, we discuss things that we never thought we'd want to discuss, or because we have to reconcile it, or we don't think this consciously all the time, or we can't go on. We get fixated on it. We can't complete the task completion. Remember, suspicious? I've been doing it all day. You can't do the things you need to do in everyday life if you're worried about being attacked by someone who's going to stab you 50 times with a K-bar. And even though you might not realize you're always worried about it, if you have that trauma in you and that fear in you, until you work it out somehow, it is going to take you away from living your best life, either by not being able to do what you need to do, or maybe you start doing things you shouldn't be doing that are going to start to take your life away from you. So, talking about true crime, as gruesome as it may be in all these different aspects, not only is it okay, it is healthy from a therapeutic perspective. It is necessary, and that's what we're doing here. And I don't remember why I went off on that little diatribe, but there you go.
well, think about too, as far as the vandal alert, I can completely understand from an administrative perspective wanting to notify students. Again, you look at this crime at first glance, I can completely understand if they thought, oh God, this could be a spree event for whoever did this, and
Absolutely.
like you were talking earlier in the live about an active shooter at your previous school, it turned out it was a hoax, thank God. But imagine if for another campus where it's not a hoax, they just don't send out the alert because it's isolated to one building. No, you want to let everyone know what's going on in the event more people are involved or whatever, so people know and they can protect themselves or be more vigilant because something serious is happening. You don't just say, oh, well, everyone in that building knows what's happening, so we're just going to keep everyone else in the dark. No, that makes no sense. And so I can see again both sides of the argument. Yes, the people there shouldn't have found out about it that way, but they have the greater community to protect in that same moment.
I mean, would you? And I mean, it could have been a situation where someone finds out about that way, or they don't find out about it. They are not aware. They are not vigilant. They don't take the right precautions, and then they are the next victim. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And it also lets people know too, hey, there was this weird event. Imagine just that going out, how many tips started coming in if someone thought they saw something, or, then people start looking at their security camera footage.
That's
right. You know what I mean? And anyone in any relationship to that. So I think it's sort of a multifaceted approach, but I feel like it checked them doing that when they did check a lot of boxes. In the next steps for the investigation.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. And and in a way it also helped to, in talking about, when people are not just here, but in other channels or other people in law enforcement, they're expanding their field where the tape was, where the tape wasn't, just by sending out that alert and getting people in the community contained in their own homes, off the streets, out of places where there may have been movement by the perpetrator, evidence, any trace of anything that happened relevant to that crime. It is helping to secure the extended crime scene. It is expanding the tape in a way, so
I do think too, it did always surprise me. And you know, this investigation wasn't perfect, so I mean, which one ever is, but
Right.
it did always surprise me how few, I think you and I even talked about this at one point, how few articles were actually collected as evidence.
That
That
no,
always really surprised me, as big as the
it
house
was.
was.
Uh-huh. It was
But
really surprising. It was scary at the time. I remember when we realized that, we're like, oh,
how was that possible? I think, was it like 25 or like 26 or so? It was very
it
low.
was remarkably low. I don't remember that number, but for some reason I'm thinking 48, but I don't know if that's it or not. But it was we like what?
Yeah, yeah,
I
we were.
mean,
I remember.
in total, yeah, that was yeah. I'm gonna find that out. That was really weird.
Hmm.
And
But
then
anyway.
how like Chris McDonough found, was just walking around the interview room, was walking around. When was he there? He's on the 18th of November. This happened on the 13th. So 5 days later with his wife. He's a former
Hmm.
homicide investigator. For those of you who don't know, it's interview room is his channel. I love it. I'm a fan of his. They were just walking around, just checking things out. And right on the property, on the literal property, the
Hmm.
lot, 1122 King Road, there lies a black glove in
Hmm.
plain sight that had not been collected as evidence.
So
Um,
strange. And you know, too, and I haven't, you might know this, I haven't had a chance to go through very many of the documents that were dumped. I'm still shocked how much has come out.
I am
Um,
too.
so early. But do
I'm
you
like, slow
remember?
it down. Mama got a job and mama got to take a nap. Slow it
I'm
down.
trying to
Come
tell you.
on.
I remember uh seeing that there was like a backpack that was found outside. Have you read, or has they disclosed what that was or what that was about?
Oh, wait,
I
I'm
keep
sorry.
meaning,
Say that again.
wasn't there a backpack that was located outside the property after police like taped everything off? I thought
Yeah,
that was one of the things collected, but I'm
there
curious
was
to know the
something about
contents of it.
a backpack, and I don't honestly remember the details about it, but I do remember that. And there was also another troubling piece of information right off the edge of the literal lot of 1122 King Road. They found a black jacket. They picked it
Yes.
up. They put their hands in the pockets. I said they were looking for Jolly Ranchers. And then they kind of looked at it, looked at each other, put it down. They didn't even collect it. And we see in
Yes.
the truck video who's wearing a slightly oversized black jacket that looked about the same
Mm-hmm.
as this one. One of the victims, Madison Mogan. They didn't
Yeah.
even take it into. They put it back down on the ground. No Jolly Ranchers, no use. It was
Yeah, and
really
then and now the one of the first pieces of information they find out is that the suspect is wearing all black. I do wish that they had asked her when she said that. Do you remember seeing any labels on the like an Adidas symbol? Was there a Nike? Was there anything identifiable that you could
right.
see on the clothing? I did think
That
that
would have
was.
been that would have been yeah. That's what. For some reason, I don't know. I never realized it till you just said this. I imagine that the company Viper, is it like a secure? I don't know. I just know the logo, and I always
Mhm.
imagine that there's somewhere on this person that she saw. There's a Viper logo, and I don't know why I see that in my mind, and I didn't even realize it till you just said that. But yeah, they did not ask about any of those details
Mm-mm.
that could have led to identifying information.
Yeah, like were the shoes all black? Did it look like tennis shoes? Did it
Yeah.
look like boots? Did it look like whatever? And I thought it was
Was
weird too.
there
Like,
the Viper symbol is what yeah, no, exactly. That's a good point.
yeah, and the kid before they took him to the car, there was one scene early on in the body cam footage, like they know what's happening and he's still like walking around like in the front part of the house, which I thought was really odd. You know what I mean? Because then it goes
Mhm.
to what footprints are organic, what are, what shouldn't be here. And I just think letting
Yeah.
anyone in or around the property, even like the front part, was a little bit of a miss, especially after knowing what was going on. No one should have been in there. And partly too, I
No.
noticed in chat people were saying, oh, they're just standing outside. Well, I mean, where they lived inside, they can't go back in. There's
Right.
not enough people to secure the scene and take them to the station somewhere. They're not going to let them leave. So
Yeah, and they
y-
didn't want to go back in, I'm
and they
sure.
don't want to go back in. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, where they supposed to go, but Anyway.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, I just thought that was really strange. Like they didn't ask if there was anything noticeable. Did you notice the boots, or were they tennis shoes? Could you see if the soles were white or whatever? I
Yeah,
just thought
no,
it really
that's
didn't.
really good. Yeah, because I mean, those are the kind of details that to trigger someone's memory. You have to ask those kind of details. That's a part of a certain kind of training for questioning when you need to solicit memory from people. And so, I mean, that's such a good point. And I would imagine for law enforcement, that would be part of their training in some way, shape, or form. But they can't. But yeah, it's kind of wish that they did. But I mean, I personally, at the end of the day, I feel so confident they have the right guy.
Me too. I'm just, in the
And
very
but
beginning on
no,
a
but
in a fact
still,
found
but
mission.
but in a way, it's like I don't. This is. We'll talk about. Let's table that topic because that's gonna.
Yeah. Well, as I always say too, we always have 20/20 vision in hindsight,
That's
so it's
right.
like
That's right.
one of those things. But yeah, I don't know. It just
Yeah.
I think too, one thing I made a comment in chat earlier that I do feel really bad for is, as small as this town is, I think the permanent population is under 27,000, if I remember right. And
Mhm.
you have to think too, a lot of these beat cops and things probably patrol the same areas, the same
Mhm.
kind of shifts, the same areas. And so with the amount of noise complaints and things, I don't think it's far-fetched to assume a lot of these officers had probably been there, probably saw them downtown, probably saw them walking
Yeah.
around as they were patrolling and stuff, and maybe not even knew them on a personal level, but were at least familiar. And I can't imagine for them,
Mhm.
having seen them in life, to have to walk in and,
Yeah. That's a
you
really
know,
good point.
it's just so tragic in so many ways. But I do feel for that too, because I'm sure for them it was just as shocking and tragic. I'm sure their heads were spinning just as much as anybody's, while still trying to do a job. So I
Yeah.
think a little grace can be given.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, I 100% agree. And I personally didn't think that there was anything that was weird about that body cam footage. I think a lot of the,
Mm-mm.
audio mutes, I think, I mean, I think that they were so composed given what they saw and had to deal with. I mean, there are certain things that they know that they can't say that was going to be on their body cam audio for a number of reasons. I cannot imagine that everything that came out of their mouth was filtered through, the privilege of discretion first, because they were so composed. It was almost
Right.
eerie. I mean, I'm sure they said some things that they had to redact because it wasn't appropriate to be said. I mean, I know that Hunter Johnson threw up a few times. I heard someone in law enforcement did. That could be muted out. I could very easily imagine that happening.
Oh God.
I mean,
Yeah.
even seasoned investigators, some from the sight or the smell or whatever, if they aren't prepared, have said, sometimes your body reacts how it reacts, and so,
Jesus.
I
Yeah.
mean, just we don't know. It could be anything. I mean,
Yeah, and I think too, part of what you're talking about with like some of the creators and things, it is just so gross, some of the stuff that people say. And I just look at this and I think, God, isn't it bad enough as it is, without trying to make it worse in some way, or more nefarious? Isn't this bad enough?
Right. Well, that was when, I first came out with what, the fraternity guys like wanted to say, that whole message against, that group of creators that was lying intentionally. And I know that for a fact. We have proof of that. And I've never put it out there because I don't like to do that kind of thing. But other people have proof of it too. And many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, seriously, it's not worth even worrying about. But that was like what I found, like when I was just, making a video and talking about it, was like, ended up saying, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is one of the most horrific crimes, known to mankind, certainly, recently. And what is wrong with you where you think you have the right to, or some part of you thinks that there is a need to add even more
Mm-hmm.
fictionalized, created by you
Mm-hmm.
details to this already most fucked up, salacious crime of a lifetime. Like, what are you, stop, everyone stop, because this is not okay. Like, are we trying to create a new normal that is intolerable for like human existence? It's just so, I am taking a little hyperbole here, but it's just so weird.
It
And
becomes very victim blamey too, which is just wrong all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if you blame a victim, you're going to attract, this certain community of people who I'm not going to categorize them, but there's a good community for that on any platform. And most of those people are definitely not here on this channel, but but some are. We love you. Stay with us. We're going to help you out. Just stay here. Don't go back. Don't go back. You've come this far. We'll keep walking you forward. Don't go back.
Oh God. I can mute for a while if you want to answer some questions or something. I'm going to run to the other room and get some water.
Okay, I actually think I'm going to wrap up soon. Oh, Jesus, now I'm almost at 3 hours, and there aren't really that many questions, but I am like reading all the comments, and I
3 hours into your 90-minute live.
I know, dude. I'm a liar, man. Next time I'm about to be like, shut up. You're gonna make yourself a liar again. This is not good for your brand or your image. You would never say that to me. I'm just kidding. But I just can't. I love you guys so much. I just can't say goodbye. Oh my God. Yeah, but no, I am going to end this. And because again, there's going to be a live stream tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern ish. And if you do like what we deep dive into regarding the Watts case, you'll definitely want to be there tomorrow night. And then we're going to do another Idaho live stream Monday night. And I'm hoping to have 2 special guests, but I'm not quite sure about that yet. But you know what? I'm going to have some special guests. Monday night, special guests. Sis Fish.
Well, I'll be there tomorrow. You know how much I love an empanada. So
An
I'll see you tomorrow.
empanada, baby. And there's going to be a lot of skanky empanada tomorrow night. Well, thank you for coming up. And I'm so glad the first 2 days of school were awesome. I love the pictures. You must be the proudest mama ever.
Oh my gosh, she is the cutest pumpkin in the patch.
She seriously is. She's gorgeous. She just shines. She's beautiful.
All right. Thank you. But
Thanks, awesome kiddos.
Call me tomorrow if you have time.
Okay. I definitely will. Have a good night.
All right, darling. You too.
Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. As I said, guys, I'm just going to go because it's so hard to say goodbye to you guys because you're amazing. But I just keep wanting to read. Let's see. Oh, I that stood out to me too. PKC says, I was amazed, and she's talking about Officer Nunez, a 22-year-old first responding officer, how composed he was, that much anxiety, and still says, please, thanks, and you're doing great. I'm so impressed with that young man. Absolutely. I hope he's told that often. I hope he knows it about himself. I hope he's been recognized for it. I fear that maybe he hasn't to the degree he should, because I don't know, but I hope he hears it through whatever, airwaves he does from whoever it's coming from, because he deserves it. Yes, thank you, Knox Randall. Props to all the first responders. Amen to that. Sirius Black says, good night, everyone. Had such a great night. We'll see you in the Patreon, folks. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I got to post the Patreon link and the Discord link. So let me do that super quick. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. And thanks for becoming a member, Sirius Black. Does anyone of my, and the guys, the discourse is the Discord. I'm so impressed with it. I'm a little intimidated by it. I'm still learning it. I go in there all the time. I'm going to start doing content on both Patreon and Discord, and some of the moderators might do some on Discord too. And they're always there. It's like a really happening community. It's amazing. I get none of the credit because it's our amazing moderators, Cuff You, Suspicious, Honey Bun, and Pepper, and Sherry, who are responsible for all of that. Cuff You worked really hard on it. Thank you so much, Cuff You. I was just like, dude, you did all this for, like, this is insane. I can't even tell you how grateful I am. Seriously. It's so amazing. And then the Patreon is something I've been working on for a really long time. And it's just been on the back burner, but working on it little by little. Cause I'm like, how do I do this? Not how do I upload and download a PDF? My God, I hope I can do that after I figured out how to make videos after knowing nothing about to start this channel. But, how do I make it work? How do I organize things? Because the whole idea for me with the Patreon is to, well, first of all, I started getting videos yanked right down by YouTube if I would put up sometimes investigative documents, and not even just for the Watts case. And that's just weird. It's like, this is a true crime channel. Why do you have a problem with it? I redacted the phone numbers. I don't know. It's almost too risky to put some very basic things up with YouTube, but I still want to share it with you guys. But nevertheless, a video format or a community post still is not the ideal format for it. So I need something that has greater versatility or different versatility than YouTube. What is that? Patreon. But okay, what do I need to use? The Patreon offers. How do I use that in conjunction with YouTube? There was kind of a lot of like working it out in my mind behind the scenes. I have a shitload of content for the Watts case, the Idaho case, and cases I haven't even started uploading yet. Some cases we worked on a while ago. Cuffy's also been helping me get files together, complete files for the Christine Formella case, which will be a trial or in court pretty soon. The teacher, her birthday is a day before mine, December 30th, December 29th. We're both Capricorns. We have similar backgrounds. We're both special ed teachers, worked with the same community of students as we first began. Her stated reasons very similar for my stated and actual reasons. And I was just so struck that I have so much in common with this woman, like a ridiculous amount. She is a woman who, she's beautiful. She had an amazing boyfriend, then fiance, now husband, who treats her like a queen, comes from a good family, has money. Not that that needs to even matter when it comes to love, but all the things most people would want. And she got into a sexual relationship with one of her students. She's a special ed teacher again. One of her students she had as a special ed support teacher. This disgusts me. It makes my stomach turn. And the mother found evidence of it. He was 15. They were having sex regularly, and she was controlling and manipulating him mentally, wouldn't let him break up with her. When she went to Italy to have her dream destination wedding with her amazing husband, she ended up locking herself in a bathroom all day and crying about her 15-year-old student victim at home, who she considered her boyfriend, who was seeing a high school girl that was his age. It was a healthy thing for him to do. And she just couldn't let him go. Really screwed up, really twisted. I want to get into the behavioral psychology aspects of it. Women as perpetrators, systemic crimes, and the victimology of it for people in position of power, like she was with this student. There's a lot of really important things to talk about. Plus, if you wanted to just look at it on this level, please don't be mad at me. Forgive me for saying these words. It's just a really fucking juicy case too. And the real information on it is hard to score. And in large part, thanks to Cuff, you were scoring it. And I'm looking forward to passing all that information on to you. And that was all in regards to Patreon. And have I copied the link yet? No. This is what happens when you're too tired. Okay, here's the link to Patreon. Press copy, Kelly. Okay, there, I did it. Okay. All right. You can become a free member. You can become a paid member. Eventually, some of the documents and things, especially that we have to pay a lot for, work really hard for, like a lot of channels do, might, be a small fee to access it, because that's just what keeps it running. You know what I mean? So I used to really hate to ask for small fees for anything, but I have realized it's just how part of this. So there you go. Yeah. And you can choose to do it or not, right? Totally. I don't choose to support every creator. I can't always do it, but sometimes I do and sometimes I can. So it's all good. Yeah, mods. Awesome. They're amazing. And then the Discord link. Does anyone have that handy? I can go to the community post and grab it. Okay, and then I'll post that for you. Go check that out too. Become part of that community. I know you'll love it. Ah, Thumper! Thumper just jumped up on my lap. She scared me. All right. So everyone's going to go right in your calendar tomorrow night, 9:30. Where are you going to be? Right here, live stream, important one. Watts case, big one. Monday night at, I always say I want to do it at 8 on weekdays, but it doesn't happen. So 9, you're going to be right here again, more Idaho. And we'll have some special guests for you of one theme or another. And my God, by Monday, who knows what else we're going to learn by then. Geez, this information is just I'm happy. I'm grateful for this, especially after that weird ass gag order situation. But it's just, hey, we can acknowledge it's a lot of information, right? Okay. Where is the Discord link? Oh, there it is. I'm going to share. Oh, I can't do it like that. Okay, I'll just share I'm good. And then I'm going to share the Discord link now. And Discord is a great place to view information on a ton of different cases. Let us know what you're most interested in. Is maybe there's a case that's not even up there, but you're oh, this is going to be a good one. And I think you guys might be interested in it. And I think you might be in a good position to find the information on it. Put it out there. We are totally, engaged with Discord. And I love that it gives us, greater ability to interact with you guys. And so we say, I want to know what you think. And I always want to know what you guys think about everything. But, putting out, community surveys and the things that you're able to do with YouTube, it hasn't been, giving me enough of you guys and what you want. So this is amazing. Oh, you did? Oh my God. I'm slow. Well, there it is again. Is that what you're even talking about, Cisvicious? Usually Cisvicious and I share a brain cell, but I don't know. You did. Look at that. Yeah. But I don't have any brain cells left right now. So, all right, guys. Love you so much. I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you for watching this difficult material with us. Yeah. Check out Patreon. Check out Discord. Drop me a link on there. I'll be checking both of them in a couple of minutes. And we'll keep talking. Everyone, take care, be safe, and remember to be good to yourself because you deserve it. And send Moscow PD a nice note telling them how much you admire Officer Nunez and you hope that they have thoroughly appreciated him. I am super impressed with him after watching that video. We appreciate you, Officer Nunez. Happy 23rd birthday. Well, I guess now he'd be 24, 25. Still very young. All right, see you guys soon.